You know, I think it's kind of unfair that the Power Rangers have never really been taken seriously. Don't get me wrong, I get it, especially since when the show was at its most popular, it was a cheesy and silly product of the 90s. This eye guy is literally called Eye Guy. I just wish that sometimes the Power Rangers could get a chance to be more than just a show for little kids. Then I saw Power/Rangers and immediately regretted that thought. It is no exaggeration when I say that this is probably the worst movie ever made. But the problem with Power/Rangers is more than what we're seeing on screen. It also has to do with the constant identity crisis that Power Rangers finds itself in. But in order to understand what I'm talking about exactly, we first need to watch Power/Rangers. Also, I was very sick recently and watched like every Cosmonaut Variety Hour video, so there's some pretty heavy inspiration here. I'm doing like a parody of that series. And if you're thinking to yourself, wait, Connor, that's a pretty weak parody, wait till you see this movie. So Power/Rangers was a short film directed by Joseph Kahn and James Vanderbeek. The latter is freaking Dawson from Dawson's Creek. A true 90s crossover this is. Now calling this a movie is pretty generous. It was released for free on YouTube and Vimeo back in February 23rd, 2015, and has a runtime of a whopping 14 minutes. 14 minutes and 19 seconds to be exact. It's a dark, gritty reimagining of the Power Rangers universe. It's technically classified as a parody, but we'll get into that in a few, don't worry.
Hip-hop keto, and keto, and abs!
The movie opens up on a war. We get glimpses of the Rangers using machine guns and Michael Bay's Transformers fighting. Already, when I first saw this back in the day, wasn't the most promising start. I didn't like the machine guns, the Call of Duty imagery, you know. And the Megazord is cool too. That right there, unfortunately, best part of the movie. It is all kinda downhill from here. Before cutting to present day, we get voiceover of Rocky interrogating Kimberly, asking her about Tommy's whereabouts. Oh boy, that's okay. Rocky just wants to have fun.
Whoa, I'll bet he knows how to have fun.
We also immediately get some cringy dialogue.
Bullshit is an ugly color on you.
I prefer pink.
You get it? Because Power Rangers is cheesy. So in this movie, Rocky is a bad guy now, working for the Machine Empire after they defeated the Rangers. He actively hated the Power Rangers and Zordon, making teenagers fight this intergalactic war.
When two empires declare war, neither side is innocent. Asked to fight an intergalactic war against an enemy we'd never met. Let's stop pretending our side stood on some moral high ground.
This right here, we will return to this a bit later. This is kind of the whole precipice of the movie. It is Power Rangers gone dark, so they're taking the angle of like, yeah, the Power Rangers were cool, but if you think about it, they were high school kids fighting an intergalactic war. He then gives us flashbacks on what happened to the rest of the team. So, Jason and Kimberly apparently got married, but they got sold out by Bulk and Skull, leading to some cops, for some reason, coming to their location where they brutally shoot down Jason. And why exactly did goofy old Bulk and Skull sell out their friends? It's because, and I'm not kidding when I say this, the Machine Empire had better meth?
Machine Empire had better meth. That was all it took.
Okay, if this is the stupid route we want to go down, why wouldn't these aliens just have a different kind of drug never seen on Earth? If you're gonna go this route, why not just make something so new and addicting? Why does the Walter White of Power Rangers work for the Machine Empire?
Skull, you sold us out!
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I'm trying not to like judge it, but they make it hard. Consistently, this just sucks for me. It's like, I don't know. It's not like, I'm not shock-jocked by it. Anyway, Bulk and Skull also end up dying. Fantastic. Then we learn about Zach. He was an adrenaline junkie who yearned for action. He also made hip-hop keto tapes. Yeah, remember how silly Power Rangers is? Aren't you laughing? saying that he apparently knew that hip-hop keto was BS and was just trying to scam fat kids.
And you think peddling false hope to fat kids was enough to scratch that itch for him?
It's funny because these hip-hop keto tapes actually existed in the real world, but these ones weren't scams. Oh no, these were legit. Anyway, Zack got so bored that he worked for the Machine Empire just to see some action. So they had him invade North Korea, and I gotta admit, as much as I dislike this movie, this fight scene does go pretty hard. Like, the action and choreography is genuinely exciting. It's violent, visceral. I like it. Thumbs up. Anyway, Tommy shows up at his house to kill him. A little bit more of that. A little bit more of that stuff. And the action is really good too, I will admit. Yeah, it does go very hard. Oh boy, Billy's now in the movie. I hope he's not dead. Oh, who could have seen that coming? Now the Billy in this movie is a bit different than the Billy in the TV show, because this Billy is gay.
That ain't no problem. Huh? That ain't no problem.
You see, this was most likely done because David Yost famously had an interview talking about his experience on the set of Power Rangers Zeo. A lot of people were throwing slurs at him for being gay and just relentlessly bullying him. He literally walked off set one day because he rightfully had enough of it. It's a really emotional interview, and David Yost was very open and vulnerable here. Now, this is probably just me overthinking this, but David Yost in that interview said this.
I don't know, I guess I was kind of worried about my life. I was worried that I might take my own life.
And the Billy in this movie commits the unmonetizable word. He blaps himself, the one ranger in the movie who doesn't get blapped by someone else. Oh yeah, this is apparently Tommy. You'd be forgiven if you thought it was Rocky because they're both just white guys with stubble. But if you think that Billy stuff was a bit disrespectful, don't worry your pretty little heads. Because it actually gets kinda worse. They actually make a reference to Tui Trang's real-life death. Trini in this universe dies and the Rangers are attending her funeral, along with a picture of her, which mirrors the real-life news report of Tui Trang's funeral, the pictures and the cast all making an appearance. Kimberly in this movie mentions how everyone was there, except Tommy. He showed up for like 2 seconds and was never seen after that. Which, again, sort of mirrors the real-life funeral where Jason David Frank couldn't make it because he was at his own brother's funeral. Man, this movie sure is edgy. I love listening to 3 Days Grace and drinking Monster Energy on a school night. So whatever, Rocky's crashing out because Kimberly won't tell him where Tommy's at. But we see this was all a part of Rocky's plan. You see, he wanted to use Kimberly as bait because he knew it would lure out Tommy. Which it does. The two then get into what again is a pretty solid fight scene, but of course, it needs to be ruined with 2010's dubstep. So Kimberly breaks out of her chains and just shoots Rocky in the head. And then Tommy says,
Who are you?
That's Kimberly Hart, the Pink Ranger. It's why you came here in the first place. It turns out that Kimberly actually died in the Machine Empire War from the beginning of the movie. And the Kimberly we're seeing here is actually Rita Repulsa. She disguised herself as Kimberly so she could trick Rocky into capturing her and luring out Tommy. She was also the person behind killing the Rangers. Okay, now here's what's dumb. Tommy immediately sniffs this out as a trap. He instantly calls her out as not being Kimberly. So, if you knew for a fact this wasn't Kimberly, why did you come here? Anyway, she tells Tommy to join him, and he says no, striking her with his sword before the movie ends. I think I explained why this movie is dumb and cringe, but look, it's a parody. The idea was that the late 2000s and 2010s were littered with dark and gritty reboots. This movie was meant to be a joke poking fun at that, taking the dark reboot to the literal most extreme sense possible. So, why am I tilted? If this movie solely existed as a joke and a simple YouTube movie, I feel like my criticism would be pretty unwarranted. Let's all point and laugh at stupid Connor. But the story of this movie's existence doesn't quite end here. Power / Rangers was produced by Adi Shankar. I think I said that right, sorry. He's become a pretty prominent figure in the industry. He produced the Castlevania Netflix show, which I've heard is pretty good. He also produced the Netflix Devil May Cry series, which I've heard is not good. Now, apparently, in 2017, he announced he was developing and even writing the first season of his dark reimagining of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Therefore, the argument of this just being a parody falls flat on his face. This wasn't just a fun passion project. This was clearly a proof of concept to see how the masses would respond to it. This movie is literally a case of, where my hug at? Just kidding. Unless? His quotes regarding the new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season he had in mind were, it's a complete retelling of the first 3 seasons, and it's going to be really fucking dark. Darker than any Power Rangers series. And this is my overall problem with Power/Rangers. You see, Power Rangers isn't that complicated. At its core, it is just a team of superheroes, no different than the X-Men or the Ninja Turtles. But I guess because of its tokusatsu roots with rubber-suited monsters and multicolored costumes, as well as the most popular season of the show having that 90s cheesiness, that's just what most people assume Power Rangers is. It was this particular formula that took over the 90s and made millions of dollars. So, let's just stick with that forever. But when fans naturally grow up, a lot of them just kinda left the fandom. Because if all you're getting is this children's show teaching mostly surface level values with mostly surface level characters, there's nothing really here for you as an adult apart from the nostalgia. Could you imagine if the only Spider-Man property that existed nowadays was Spidey and his amazing friends? And that's kind of the whole problem with the movie, in my opinion, is that it tries way too hard to be edgy when it doesn't need to be. I think a lot of people, you know, when they talk about Power Rangers, they immediately lace it with, oh, it's a little kid's show, so it has to just be dark and edgy for it to be taken seriously or to have anything. I mean, I think a lot of people like this movie, and it's fine if you do, but I feel like this movie is how people think Power Rangers has to be in order for it to have any type of relevance, I guess, or any chance of success in modern media, modern movies, you know? I think the main issue with Power Rangers never being more than what it is that some people just don't get it. Now look, if this is your kind of thing and you yearn for a dark Power Rangers, be my guest, more power to you. But still, how do some people not get Power Rangers? I found an interview with Shankar on YouTube. It was uploaded one day after the Power/Rangers YouTube premiere. And he has some unique takes on Power Rangers.
When I was a child, I had 2 favorite TV shows. The first was the X-Men animated series. For the record, if you don't like the X-Men animated series, I don't like you. And I'm not talking about fucking X-Men Evolution.
Fair enough.
Although that one.
He's also, I don't have a problem with it, he looks like Reiko from Mortal Kombat.
And the second one was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I fucking love that shit.
Alright, me too, buddy.
But here's the thing, I always wanted to be a Power Ranger until I realized that these are high school students being recruited by this intergalactic figure in a tube, which is fucking weird, called Sordon. They're made to fight this intergalactic war that they really have nothing to do with. How is that any different from child soldiers, man? That's like super fucked up.
This right here is the main premise of the movie's origin. It's child soldiers. This is very dark and evil. You know, child soldiers are bad. My counterpoint to that is always, sure, but you can always take something and strip it down to its most rudimentary, darkest form if you really want to. You can look at anything through whatever kind of lens you want to. One of his favorite shows was X-Men. They are teenagers just discovering that they have powers, being recruited into a school, and they tend to fight the bad guys. You know, if you wanted to, I don't view it this way, but you could look at that like they're child soldiers too. But you don't look at it like that because it doesn't have to be that cynical. Again, it's the same thing like Spider-Man. He is a teenage boy with powers fighting crimes and gang members and stuff. You don't try and look at it like this, you know, like it's this tragic, violent tale. I don't know.
Child soldiers. Then what happens to child soldiers? Well, they didn't focus on school because they're too busy, like, judo chopping and fucking spin kicking monsters. So, You know, they probably didn't get into good colleges and stuff, but, you know, who cares about that? Relationships, oh man, that shit goes out the window. I mean, how do you explain to a significant other, well, you know, I was actually saving the world every day?
Again, I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, Spider-Man, another teenage kid, has relationship issues. These are things you can tackle, absolutely, but it's just how you tackle it. When you take it to the most extreme, I am sure there are many superhero movies. Pretty sure Puss in Boots in one of the new movies had PTSD or something. He had some issues. Everything can be dealt with in a delicate way. And it sucks for Power Rangers because Power Rangers is always dealing in extremes. It's either extremely corny for little dumb babies, goo goo gaga, or in these, a lot of fan films cases, they want to step away from that, but they don't really come to the middle ground. They tend to jump again to the other extreme, which is insane violence and darkness and trauma and all that stuff. And I genuinely think that both of ends of the spectrum don't really lead to a good product. Now, ultimately, again, this is just a fan film. This is just a fan thing. People can do whatever they want, and I encourage that for sure. I'm not here to try and crap on anyone for not making the thing that I like. That's not really the point of why I don't like the movie. During an interview with Polygon, Shankar said his next big project was a Power Rangers meets Dragon Ball Z type series that would reimagine the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series that ran between 1993 and 1999. The show would be an animated series, and Shankar said it would be the most violent version of the show to date. It's a complete retelling of the first 3 seasons, and it's going to be really effing dark. Darker than any Power Rangers. He started working on it and was pitching it to Netflix. Now, here's the thing. As a fan, if I made a parody movie, here's a dark and edgy Power Rangers, that can exist on its own. But there's a point where your parody starts to not be a parody. If he made the movie, put it on YouTube, got some exposure for it, that's one thing. But when does it stop being a joke? When you pitch it to Netflix? When you've already written the first 3 seasons of it? You've already come up with the whole idea for a cinematic universe and a TV show, and there's a point where it's not a joke anymore and it's starting to become a reality, and when people watch it, most people, I would imagine, if I showed this to my friends and said, have you seen the new Power Rangers? They're not going to look at it as a parody. They're going to look at it as, oh, this edgy thing is the new Power Rangers show. And I just don't think that's great, in my opinion. I don't want that to be Power Rangers' identity. There is a nice, middle ground where people of all ages can enjoy the Power Rangers. This movie, though, is just not for me. I'm glad it never picked up steam. I'm glad it never got anything else. No offense to Adi Shankar. I mean, maybe he's a cool guy. He made Castlevania. I've heard that's very good. So if you want to do Power Rangers because he's a fan, I encourage him to do it. Just not this dark and bloody Power Rangers. It's going to just still be cheesy, but in a different kind of way. And if you make an R-rated bloody Power Rangers movie or TV series, it will still have no respect, no different than the Winnie the Pooh horror movies or the Grinch horror movies. It'll be a fun little charm that people laugh at for 5 minutes and then move on. No legacy created. That's just my opinion, though. And I don't know how to end the video. Hi, I came up with a way to end the video. I just wanted to, take this time. It's the end of the year if you're watching this as it goes live. 2025 is about to be in the bag, and I'm really looking forward to 2026. I just really wanted to say again, thank you for just this insane success I've found with these Power Rangers videos. I've always wanted to talk about these. I know I said this before in the past, but I'll never not take a time to say this. Being able to talk about these shows and having all of you be interested in it and engaging and talking or meeting me at conventions and saying hi, and just chatting about Power Rangers. You're always allowed to do that, by the way. If you ever see me out in public, please stop me and talk to me about Power Rangers or anything. But I just had I'm very happy with how this year went, and I have pretty much all of 2026 already planned out. We're going to be if you're listening and you made it this far, then we should be done with Power Rangers by next year, and after that, who knows? I got a couple of things planned. I have a lot of fun videos, Power Rangers related, of course, other deep dives. If you catch my drift, if you have a little idea of what I'm talking about there, maybe we'll talk about some Super Sentai, maybe we'll talk about some Kamen Rider. I mean, once I finish Cosmic Fury, what am I gonna do? You know, I'm just not gonna stop making videos. We gotta talk about something. But in between the major reviews, I have other videos planned, of course, still on the topic. I'm hoping that you guys are interested in watching them. But yeah, just wanted to take this time to say thank you to all of you for all the love and support. It has been, I've been doing YouTube at this point now, 2025 coming to an end, almost about 10 years now. ConnerTheWaffle has been uploading on this channel, ConnerTheWaffle, for about 10, 11 years going on now, which is incredible. And this Power Rangers arc I'm on right now has easily been the most satisfied I've ever been with my videos, the happiest I've ever been uploading, just seeing kind of this love that all of you have given me and how much you guys care about this franchise is really heartwarming. So thank you so much. Please look forward to more videos in 2026. Mwah!